Welcome. I am gonna be start a new B Pharmacy lecture series based on the syllabus as per the Pharmacy Council of India. Now I am going to start today on the course Instrumental Methods of Analysis. The course code is BP701T. This is for B Pharmacy final year semester 7. Friends, myself Mohammad Zamiruddin, assistant professor in Indira College of Pharmacy, Vishnupuri, Nanded. Dear students, first we will discuss the syllabus of instrumental methods of analysis. Now in this syllabus, we have to discuss the applications of instrumental methods in qualitative and quantitative analysis of different drugs. Now the more emphasis is given in this course for the spectroscopy and chromatographic methods. Now in this we will discuss the theoretical and practical knowledge and practical aspect of these two instrumental analytical methods, that is spectroscopy and chromatography. Now the objective of this syllabus is to understand the interaction between the methods and electromagnetic radiation and its application in different analysis of drug or in day-to-day life. Second objective is that we should understand the basic principle of chromatographic separation and the different methods of chromatography and their application in different fields of analysis in pharmaceutical industry or any other industry. Now after getting this knowledge, the students are able to perform quantitative and qualitative analysis of the drugs using different instruments or techniques. Now students, the course content is, the unit 1 is UV visible spectroscopy. This chapter is for 10 hours. Now in this chapter we have to discuss the basic principle of spectroscopy, different transitions, electronic transitions, chromophores, oxochromes, then different spectral shift, then principle of spectroscopy, that is a Beer-Lambert's law, and their limitations. Now the instrumentation of UV visible spectroscopy. Okay, we will discuss all instrumentation pattern. Now application of UV spectroscopy in different field of analysis. Then the second technique is fluorimetry. Okay, in this we will discuss the concept of singlet, doublet, triplet electronic state, internal and external conversion, factors affecting fluorescence, quenching, instrumentation and application. Now the second unit, that is on the IR spectroscopy. Now in this we will discuss or we will learn the fundamental modes of vibration, okay, in different atomic molecule. Then the same way instrument of IR spectrophotometer. Now after that we have to discuss flame photometry. Now in fluorimetry also we will discuss principal, interferences, instrumentation and application. Likewise atomic absorption spectroscopy, their principal, interference, instrumentation and application, and last point is the phototurbidimetry. Okay, so this was the first section which was based on spectroscopy methods. Now from unit 3rd we are going to discuss the second technique, the most accurate and most sensitive technique, that is a chromatography. Now this I think we have discussed, you have been learned in 3rd year in pharmacognosy or any other subject regarding the chromatographic techniques. Now here is the some more elaboration is there. Okay, so here we have to discuss adsorption and partition column chromatography, then thin layer chromatography, paper chromatography and electrophoresis, and in unit 4 gas chromatography and high performance liquid chromatography. So friends, these are the very important chapters. Okay, these are having the more weightage as per the exam point of view, and unit 5 is the ion exchange chromatography and gel chromatography and affinity chromatography. So this was the whole syllabus that we are going to learn in the instrumental methods of analysis. Okay, so after that we will start with the first unit, that is UV visible spectroscopy. Dear students, the first topic is UV visible spectroscopy. Now introduction. Friends, before the beginning of 20th century, the most of the quantitative chemical analysis was gravimetric and trigonometric analysis, and the scientists may have achieved accurate result, but these methods will have some limitations. Now the first limitation was the conventional trigonometric methods were applicable to limited number of analytes or sample, and the second limitation, we can titrate by acid base methods only. If the compound is acid and base compound is there, then we can titrate it easily. But if the compound is not acidic or not basic, or some neutral compound is there, then it is very difficult to analyze by this method. Now another important limitation was the amount of analyte required was very large amount, and so these methods cannot be applied to the natural compounds, because we know that the natural compounds, they are available or they can be obtained in a very trace amount, a very small amount. Okay, so that amount if we spend on the analysis, then we will not get that much amount to the available with us. Okay, so these conventional methods were required very large amount of the sample, and it was very difficult. Okay, so to overcome these problems, new and more accurate and sensitive methods was developed. Okay, so before the up to the 19th century, a colorimetric methods was developed, that is based on the absorption of visible light by the solution of drug. Now after that, various other methods which were based on the absorption or emission of some other lights like UV, ultraviolet light, infrared, okay, then radio waves, etc. Okay, now after that, a new method or new technique that based on the photon spectroscopy, okay, is what developed, that such as X-ray, microwave and radio wave, as well as energetic particles such as electron and ions. So these techniques were developed in the 20th century. Now this is the spectrum which I am going showing here. Spectrum. See, when the white light is allowed to transfer from a prism, it will be split into the different colors of radiation, that we call it as a spectrum. Okay, so you are looking, if you can see here, see, this is the white light that after transferring from the prism, it is splitting or converting into the different colored light, which are ranging from violet to the red color. So the first light, that is violet color, okay, and the last region, that colored region, is the red color. Okay, so this is called the spectrum of light. So spectrum of light is consist of 7 colors. We know that the 7 colors of light. Okay, the first is the violet color, then indigo color, blue color, yellow, orange, and the red color. Now friend, this was the concept of electromagnetic radiation and the radiations. Now the next part is the definition of spectroscopy. What is definition of spectroscopy? So if we split the spectroscopic term into two words, so we can split it in a spectro and scopy. So spectrum is, it is a spectrum of light which are, you can see above the spectrum of light, there is the 7 colors of light. Okay, and scopy or scopus, so this word mean to record or to the right. Okay, ये हमें रिकॉर्ड करना है, ये हमें कोई लिखना है या इसको राइट करना है. ठीक है, is the branch of science that deals with the study of interaction between radiation and matter as a function of wavelength. So here we have to learn, we have to study the interaction between the radiation and matter Now, what is matter? Matter may be anything, okay, which is exist. It may be a drug solution, it may be a drug powder, okay, it may be any solid substance, it may be gas also. So anything that is called as a matter. So when we allowed to pass the radiation between through the medium or through the medium, okay, then what type of interaction occur and what would be the result of that interaction? So that result will call as the spectrum, okay, that result will call as the spectroscopy. So it is a study of spectrum and study of the radiation and matter. These two call is the spectroscopy. This is very simple term, okay. The most important result of this interaction is that the matter will absorb or emit the energy in units called quanta, okay. If the measurement of radiation frequency absorbed or emitted are made experimentally, that is called spectrum, okay. So after the interaction of the matter and radiation, it will either result in the absorption of energy or emission of energy, and that whatever is the absorption or emission, which we will record it, okay, and after recording that recorded data, it is called as the spectrum. Now next term is the spectrometry. Now here you can apply the same principle, that is spectrum is spectrum, that is related to spectrum, and metry. So meter के meaning, meter means again it is a device which can record, or it is a recording device, okay. So this is the meter. Meter means we can something we have to record or something we have to measure, okay, that is called as a meter. So this meter and metry. Spectrometry, it is a recording of the spectrum, the instrument which can write or record the spectrum, it is called as a spectrometry, okay. So in this technique, it is a spectroscopic method technique used to assess the concentration or amount of given species. In this case, the instrument that perform such as measurement are called as spectrometer or spectrograph or the spectrophotometer. So here is the difference between the spectrometry and spectrophotometer. So when the word meter is come, it means that it is an instrument, and when the word metry is there, okay, it means that it is a technique. So there is a difference between the meter and metry. Metry means technique and meter means the instrument which used to record the previous term, that is a spectrum, okay, spectrometer, okay. Now I think this is clear. Now second next point is the classification of the spectroscopy. So we can classify the spectroscopic technique in different classes depending upon different criteria. So here I try to classify the spectroscopic method in based upon the two criteria. The first criteria is the phenomena involved with electromagnetic radiation. Means what type of phenomena is involving when the radiation are interacting with the matter. So based on this phenomena, okay, we have classified spectroscopic method into three classes. First one is absorption, okay, this is the absorption. Second is the emission, and third one is the scattering spectroscopy. Now second way is based on the interaction of molecule or atom are involved, means what type of matter is involving, okay. So first criteria was the way of interaction, and the second criteria was which type of matter is getting involved or which type of matter is interacting, okay. So based on that we can classify the technique or method into two major classes. One is the atomic spectroscopy and second is a molecular spectroscopy. So in atomic spectroscopy, the radiation will interact with the single atoms or the matter which exist in a single entity or single atom or in an atomic state, okay, like gaseous form, okay. So in gas form, the matter is exist in a atomic state or atomic form. Now second is a molecular. Molecule means when the two or more atoms combine together, they join together with some bondings, okay, then they call as the molecule, okay. So if two atoms are joined together, they will call as a molecule. If three atoms join together, they will call as a molecule. If more than thousands, 10,000 atoms they join together, even though they are also known as the molecular spectrum, molecules. Okay. So when the radiation are interacting with the molecules, then this technique is called as the molecular spectroscopy. Okay. Let's discuss electromagnetic radiations. Now, what are the electromagnetic radiations? So, students, electromagnetic radiations, or simply we can say it light, is the form of energy. We all know that the light is a form of energy. It does not require any type of supporting medium for the movement for any one place to another place. So, since the radiation required no matter, it can be travel in any space. Okay. It is transmitted through vacuum in high speed than in supporting medium. Okay. It has two types of properties, electro and magnetic. Since its name is given electromagnetic, it means that these radiations have the two components, or we can say it two vectors. The one is the electric vector and the second one is the magnetic vector. Now, electrical vector or the electrical component, now due to this radiations have the electrical properties, and due to magnetic vectors the radiations have the magnetic properties. These dual properties are useful for the quantitative description of many phenomena. Now, the velocity of electromagnetic radiations in vacuum is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, whereas other wave such as sound wave requires supporting medium like air, and sound cannot pass through the vacuum. So, this is about the electromagnetic radiation. Now, we will see how a single wave can be depicted. Now, this is the single wave. Now, this E is the electric field, okay, and this M is the amplitude of magnetic field. Now, these two vectors, these two components, they are perpendicular to each other, and they are perpendicular to the axis of travel. Okay. So, as the radiation travel in axis, so these two vectors, they are perpendicular to each other and they are work simultaneously. So, this is how. Okay. So, this black line indicates that this is the way of propagation, direction of the propagation, and the red one, this electrical field, and perpendicular to it there is a magnetic field. It means that all electromagnetic radiations, they have the two properties, electric properties and magnetic properties. Now, electromagnetic wave is characterized or is identified by different parameters. The first parameter is wavelength, second is frequency, third is wave number, and the fourth is the particle properties. Okay. So, we will see this is the one typical single wave. Okay. So, the upper part, it is known as peaks, okay, and the lower part, it is trough, and from this point to this point, this is called as one wave, and the distance between two consecutive trough or peak, it is called as the wavelength. This is the wavelength, okay, and when one wave is having the one peak and one trough, then this is called as one cycle. This is the one cycle. Okay. So, we will see different what is about wavelength and different parameters. So, first parameter is the wavelength. This is wavelength. Now, the symbol of wavelength is lambda. This is called the lambda. Now, as I told earlier, the distance between any two successive or consecutive maximum is peak of electromagnetic wave, it is called as the wavelength. It is denoted by the Greek letter lambda. The measurement unit of lambda are meter. Since it is a unit of length, okay, it measures in the unit of length, so its unit will be either meter, centimeter, millimeter, micrometer, and even less nanometer and angstrom. So here we all know that the conversion of micrometers into centimeter, then nanometer, and thus millimeter. Okay. So we all know that 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meter, and 1 angstrom is equal to 10 raised to minus 10 meter. Then 1 micrometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 6 meter. So this we know. Okay. So these are the different conversion of micrometer, then nanometer, and in angstroms. Now electromagnetic radiations with single wavelength, they are called monochromatic light. Okay. So here students, mono means, we know that mono means one, and chrome means color. So if a single wavelength having the single color, then that type of radiation are called as monochromatic light or monochromatic rays. If any beam of light contain multiple wavelength or more than one wavelength, it means that it will have more than one color. So that type of radiations will be called as polychromatic or heterochromatic radiations or heterochromatic rays. Poly means more than one and hetero means different. Okay. If any light or any beam of light, if it contains more than one radiation, one type of radiation, then this will be called as a heterochromatic light. Now the second parameter is the frequency, that is denoted by nu. The number of wavelength unit passed through the given point in unit time is called as the frequency of the radiation. Suppose if you assume that there is a one point, okay, and from that point if radiations are allowed to pass, so how many radiations can pass through a single point in a unit time, and that time may be in second or it may be in a meter. So suppose if in 1 second how many radiations, how many wavelength can be passed or how many cycles can be passed from that single point, it is called as the frequency. This is denoted by Greek letter nu and it is expressed in hertz. Okay. So 1 hertz is equal to 1 cycle per second. Okay. And 1 megahertz is equal to 10 raised to 3 hertz, kilohertz, and 10 raised to 6 hertz. So this is the frequency. Now next parameter is the wave number, which is denoted by nu bar. It is defined as the number of waves per centimeter in a vacuum. Suppose if you consider a 1 centimeter distance, then how many cycles or how many wavelengths can be fit in a 1 centimeter distance. So if the wavelength is smaller, then more and more number will be fit in a 1 centimeter distance, so it will have the more wave number. If the wavelength is more, then less number of wavelength can be fit in a 1 centimeter, so its wave number will be less. So these two are indirectly proportional, there is a wave number and wavelength. If wavelength is less, then wave number will be more. If wavelength is more, then wave number will be less. So mathematically we can write the wave number is a reciprocal of lambda. There is a reciprocal of wavelength, okay, or indirectly proportional to the wavelength. So this, okay. Now the fourth property, there is a particle properties of electromagnetic radiation. When a sample absorbs electromagnetic radiation, it undergoes changes in energy. The interaction between the sample and the electromagnetic radiation is in the form of beam of energetic particles called photons. This relationship we can give is as a equation, there is a E is equal to h nu. See, when we allow to interact any radiation with the matter, then this interaction will result either in the absorption of energy or in the emission of energy. So in the both way, the energy will be changed, either it will decrease or increase, okay, and we can assume that this energy, it is transmitting from radiation to the matter in the form of a small packet of energy, and that packets, they are called as the photons. So we can give the equation how energy is absorbed in the form of equation, that is E is equal to h nu, where h is the Planck's constant and nu is the frequency of radiation. V is the frequency of electromagnetic radiation and h is the energy of the photon in erg, and h is the Planck's constant, where is equal to 6.624 into 10 to the minus 27 erg per second. Now the nu can be written as c upon lambda, where c is the velocity of light. So this equation will be rearranged into E is equal to h into c upon lambda, where c lambda is the place of in the place of the nu. Okay. So we know that Planck's constant is a constant, and c, there is a velocity of light, it is also constant. So we can write here E is equal to 1 upon lambda, okay, or we can also write E is directly proportional to 1 upon lambda. Now this equation means energy is inversely proportional to the lambda, means lambda increases, energy decreases. So it is obvious that if the wavelength is more, then it will have less energy, and if the wavelength is less, then it will have more energy. Okay. So up till this is clear. Now we will discuss the electromagnetic spectrum. Now the whole spectrum is divided into different segments or different parts. Now very near, okay, is called as a gamma radiation. This is the gamma rays which have highest energy because they have the very smallest wavelength. That's why they are having the highest energy. Then next to this, it comes the X-rays. Okay. Then X-rays, they are having this type of wavelength, okay, in meter. Okay. Then after X-rays, cosmic rays are there. Then after cosmic rays, UV, ultraviolet radiations are there, and after ultraviolet radiation there is a small fragment of the visible light. Okay, so this is the fragment of the visible light which is starting from 380 nanometer up to the 780 nanometer. Now this value is vary from different books or different literature. So roughly we can say that the visible light start from 380 or 400 and ends on the 780 or the 800. So for remember, it is very convenient to remember in 400 to 800. Okay, so you can easily remember 400 to 800, and UV radiations, they are from 200 to 400. Okay, so 200 to 400 is a UV radiations, and 400 to 800 is a visible radiation. Then after that visible radiation, there is a infrared fragment is there. After that microwave, and after that radio waves. So radio waves having the highest wavelength, so they are having very less energy. Gamma rays having the smallest wavelength, so they will have the more energy. Okay, so in tabular form I want to depict the different regions of the spectrum and their effect in the changes, practical changes involved. So like here gamma rays, if they interact with the matter, so they brings about the energy changes in the nucleus of the cell or the nucleus of the atom. Okay, so it is assumed that gamma rays are very harmful to the human body since they change the energy of the nucleus of the atom, so they are harmful to the human body. Then X-rays they are affecting inner shell of the electrons. Okay, so in the atom, the revolving electrons which are revolving, so at the inner shell of the electrons, okay, they are interacted with the X-rays, so they are also harmful to the human body. Then violet and ultraviolet radiation, so vacuum ultraviolet and ultraviolet radiations, they affect the valence electrons which are on the outer shell of the atom, and they also assume that they are also harmful to the human body, and their range is 180 to 400. ultraviolet radiation having the 180 to 400 nanometer, and the vacuum ultraviolet region, that is a 1 to 180 nanometer. Now visible light. So visible light is not harmful to the human body. Okay, they are again split into the 7 colors. Now it is starting from the violet color, so which range from 400 to 435 nanometer. Then blue color 435 to 480 nanometer. Then green color 480 to 490 nanometer. Then blue green, then green, yellow and orange. Okay, so these are the different fragments or band of the visible light. Now the end of visible light is from red color. Okay, the last part of the visible light is a red color, which having the range from 110 to 750 nanometer. Now after red, it comes infrared. So here infra means away. Infra means away. So away red means after the red. Okay. So visible light end at the red color, and after that which one is coming, it is called as an infrared, I mean after the red. So infrared radiation, they are also divided into 3 colors, 3 bands or 3 different bands: near infrared, then infrared, or it is also called as a mid infrared, and far infrared. So these are the wavelength range of the infrared region. Then after that microwaves are there. Okay, and the last one is the radio waves. Okay. So these are the spectrum, or these are the spectrum of the light, okay, which affect the